Welcome back, everyone. Oh my goodness, I forgot to turn off the music. Okay, there we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to this. Boom! And I'm going to unmute Discord. Boom!
Yep, it is.
Brian, you were a One Punch Man fan, right?
Hello.
Sorry, what?
You're a One Punch Man fan, right?
Yes.
Oh my god,
You
One
know-
Punch Man hype.
Well, they're saying next week might be the first episode of season 2.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh my god, yes, it is really exciting.
That's just what they're saying, but I don't know for sure.
Well,
I'm also
I heard the
excited.
same thing, so.
I'm also excited for second season of Blue Exorcist.
Yeah!
Yes.
Yeah.
Blue Exorcist, like, the animation was really done, the characters were really well, thought out, and things like that, and the story was good. Like, it wasn't the cliche boringness.
Yeah.
It was fun. I loved it.
So Megan, because all these other people are apparently lame,
Uh-huh.
what do you think of Supernatural?
Well, I've seen literally every episode. All 138 of them,
That's a lot of
And
episodes.
each one
I mean,
is
it's
an
not as
hour
much
long.
episodes as
gem.
Fairy Tail or Inuyasha,
And
so...
and they're
mean-
amazing.
I'm currently rewatching all of One Piece.
My problem with Supernatural is I feel like it's almost too episodic at times.
It is. It really is.
There's times
That's
where,
the
like,
charm, right? It's just always going to.
yeah, it's like the
That's how
bad
the
guy
stories
of the
just always go.
bad guy of the week, right? Like, that's... Like, obviously there
Yeah.
is, like, an overarching story as well, but... Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of why I think the show that kind of broke that mold a little bit was Angel.
Angel's also super.
Angel's one of my favorite shows of all time.
I don't know who these people are.
Oh my god, you have to watch Angel
Wow,
if you've never
okay.
watched Angel.
Wow, Jackson.
I mean,
I-
I don't even know.
Have you seen those entertainment television commercials that says pop culture yourself? Jackson, I feel like you need to pop culture yourself.
You know what? Fuck all of you. Because I feel like I'm good where I am. I'm happy with who I am.
Mm-hmm. So,
Anyways,
I think everyone's back, yeah? We all,
I hope so.
we're all back.
Yeah.
Liam,
Yo.
you're the only
Mob
one.
Psycho Box.
Okay, cool. So, let's talk about the most notable thing that occurred throughout this entire combat. This is the second time now that Chester and Vi have entered a Church of Sigmar and not burst into flames. So I think that is...
Most importantly,
That is-
remarkable.
possibly the largest accomplishment here for all of us.
right now. Two. Maybe we shouldn't push it though.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's too late for that. Chester's already pushing it.
They do say third time's the charm.
Right. So, I mean, even with my lucky, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
in
You
the
gotta start
immediate
making con saves is all.
right in the immediate aftermath of this epic battle of demonic forces that you guys have just conquered, what does everyone do?
I'd again like to approach the commander and ask, could you help me with something real quick? Because most likely this thing has another piece of weird stone in it, and I think we should extract it immediately.
I think that he looks at you and says, the wounded are more important, and begins moving off in succession to check on the Inquisitors.
yeah. Hannibal, Morella looks at you, and she just, like, maybe, like, nudges, like, gestures towards the body, and she's like, do what you need to, Hannibal. We will see to the other task in the hands, though.
Yes,
The knight can attend to the wounded.
Yeah, I need one person to help me though, because this exterior looks like it might be tough to break through.
So, like, as all of us are, like, pretty injured, we don't see Chester. Vi's all the way downwards.
Invisible.
I'm actually in
And
perfect
then,
condition.
I look over and I see my first assistant, Arkady.
Yes, I understand you have difficulty carving through. Look, you just look at seam here. You see, you cut along here. Is easy.
Right. Yeah. Get your bone saw out and begin cracking the rib cage of this thing.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So that's
as...
Arkady, you're gonna help Hannibal out with that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
I am not really going to be using most other things here right now. I'm a little bit concerned that the fact that our first response to these dead demons is let's find out how they work on the inside. But I also
Right.
kind of figured
I
that
think that
having just
by now,
slaughtered all of
Hannibal-
them, we've probably cleared our names.
Maybe.
Yeah, so the good thing is, the main guy who was, like, your captor...
He's dead.
Well, no, he's not. He's right here.
No.
Commander
No.
Theoden. He's still very much alive, and witnessed the heroism of the group of you. So yeah, if there were at any point for you to be absolved of this, then yes. What Chester says is 100% true. The bad thing is, somehow, wherever you guys tend to go, demons tend to follow. More, like, other individuals may be superstitious of this. Commander Theoden, as we've found, is a little bit more practical. He understands that this is either a coincidence or something that was going to happen anyway, and you guys just happen to be there at the time that it happened.
And
we've also kind of already mentioned the fact that people who use demons are after us.
Correct, yes.
That's in my cover story from the start.
Yeah, so it would kind of basically lead credence to the fact that, yeah, we're the ones being targeted.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna crack this dude open.
Including that explosion that they
I'm gonna
Yeah,
split this thing
including
like a
that
log.
explosion, right. Okay, so, Morella, what are you doing in the immediate aftermath?
do I see Vi off in the distance, like down?
No,
down a
you
hole?
know that Vi was present, or at least someone who looked like Vi, but Vi and Chester are currently not visible or, observable by your senses. Although, so it's definitely someone that looked like Vi was here, and definitely looking at the monkey and the bone devil, they have multiple crossbow bolts just protruding out of their,
Yeah, and it's like the signature
orifices.
bolt that would.
Yeah, Chester uses a very specific set of bolts for his very specific crossbow.
But specific set
pretty
of
awesome.
Yeah.
They also have some of your names on them, so I don't know,
Yeah,
just question
yeah.
mark.
You pick up one that actually has Farron's name on it, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I remove the bolts that I see on this guy?
I mean, yeah, that's something. Well, I mean, they're not going to be in great condition, but yeah.
No, what I mean is just take them out and then kind of. You know what? No, I don't think that would help me. I'm gonna leave them there.
All right. So Marilla, what are you doing?
I think Morella pants a bit as she maybe looks over at Farron, and she's like,
who's equally panting and leaning probably heavily against something upright.
yeah, and if he's kneeling down or leaning, she puts her shoulder or her hand on his shoulder, rather, and just simply says, "You did good, Farron. You stood against this terrible beast. I'm proud of you."
You don't know what those words mean to me, my lady.
She smiles as you say that, and she's like, "Well, hopefully it encourages you to fight more like that."
I will try, my lady. Thank you.
The time has come and passed, Hannibal.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, this is the first actual interaction Farron and Morella have had together.
In quite some time.
Yep,
Yeah.
quite some time.
No, we were together for a while.
Not Farron.
No, he showed up.
Farron very recently
Oh yeah.
encountered you guys again.
Yep. And she kind of looks at the rest of us, since there's only four of us and not Chester and Vi. She just simply says, "Well, it seems our ne'er-do-wells seem to have helped us once more, and I'm glad for that, wherever they are now." She maybe peers off towards the hallway, because that's the only way they would have entered, is through the front entrance, because where else would they have come from? And yeah, she just maybe pants and collects herself as she says that. So meanwhile, you motherfucker do things.
Yeah, so Vi, you vanished with Cloak of Shadows. Where are you going? Are you just departing the church now that everything seems to be in order?
I have a little bit of a ritual I need to do in order of thanks.
Right. Okay. So, is there a specific location that you need to perform that ritual in?
Yeah, so I think that Vi obviously 100% knows that the only reason why she did so well is because of her.
100%. There was divine
like, otherwise,
intervention.
It absolutely, like overkill so many times. Yeah. So I think that in order of repayment, Vi takes all of her coin and visits or as many as she can, every single gambling hall, brothel, and low-life merchant in the town that she can go to, the city that she can go to. She puts one coin on the step of all of them, and then ends at the temple, quote unquote, that they're at, and puts all of the rest of it there. So now Vi has $0.
The one that only you would be able to find, and no one else would ever be able to find it.
And she puts the largest pile of them there, and then leaves.
Yeah, I think so. So we get a montage image, and obviously people do other things. So that takes a while. But yeah, no, of that going on, and yeah, because you gotta reset the scales, right? The scales are tipped very much in your favor.
Too much,
right? Yeah, and so in order to reset the scales so that it doesn't start to bite you in the butt, you got to give payment to those perhaps less unfortunate than you. Cool. And Chester, I'm writing to you now what you're gonna get, because you're gonna get stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I'm every single room.
Yep.
Every dead guy, they're back.
The Zergs have killed them and taken their money.
No.
I didn't kill any of these guys. Just remember that.
Now, granted, just remember, these are people of clergy, so they probably don't have a ton of coin. But
who cares about coin? It's all the other fun stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah, holy symbols are expensive.
They're still for good money, man.
They are, actually.
They are?
Especially those belonging to Sigmar.
That's very easy to unload those.
Yeah, and then we're definitely not going to be allowed back in a church.
Like,
I don't think we even are.
Well, the god will just ban you at that point. Like, it's not a matter of, like, you just aren't allowed in, it's just you can't enter anymore.
It's literally like an invisible barrier.
Cool. So, Merlin, Farron, you guys are kind of, like, tending to your wounds? Is that the deal, after your brief interaction?
Yeah.
Probably, maybe going around and making sure everything is truly dead, right? Like, you know, if anything's, like, death... Like, having death throws, you know, you stab it in the neck or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just spray the cat with a water bottle. So,
Bastard!
I know. Cool. So, Commander Theoden, he goes up here, and you see him, as he, like, embraces each of the Inquisitors, his hands glow slightly with this kind of, you know, dim light. And he goes to the first one, and you see him, like, he like, cradles his head and neck and, like, places a hand over his chest. Then he shakes his head, and he lets him back down. And he goes to the second one, and he does the same thing. And when he gets to the second guy, I think that you see him, he gets, like, excited, and you see him put whatever magic he has, because obviously he's a paladin, right? We've determined that. The individual, the Inquisitor that he's holding, coughs, and is not as dead as he first appeared. And he begins, like, tending to him and his wounds and stuff.
Shit.
I like how you go, shit. Do the rest of you, like, yeah, quickly stab him in the neck. Do the rest of you, like, go around to like, all of... Because there's a lot of dead people in here, obviously. Is there anyone that would, like, attempt to, like, tend to anyone else?
Yeah. The knight towards the left.
This guy?
So, like, yeah.
That dude's eaten.
Well,
Was
he's
he
not
eaten?
eaten. He was, like... the tentacles are what killed him. Like, or he got paralyzed and then he got cut. Like, the pincers killed him. It's possible he might still be alive if you go over there.
I thought.
Yeah, I check his pulse. I go over to at least see whether or not he is able to be saved.
Roll a medicine check when you get over there.
Wasn't there a fourth one?
There's a guy
Fourth
here.
Inquisitor.
Yes, there is 4
You know what? I think I might do that. Real quick.
Holy shit! I don't know.
Can I go
I mean,
over
like,
to-
you can tell, like, when you go over to him, you can tell that he's not breathing.
Could I go over to this guy real quick, actually, and just maybe check?
Oh,
like, and
I know what happened to the 4th Inquisitor. I used him as a body for Chester, but he was like right here.
Okay, well, I'm currently checking the other Inquisitor.
yeah, I would like to check
Anyone
this dude.
who's checking a body, roll me a medicine check.
Sets that I'm probably not going to let them live.
I mean, regardless.
Is there an opposite of a medicine check? Can I roll like a...
Yeah,
mean-
it's called an attack roll. Farron and Hannibal, you're certain that the individuals that you check are dead.
This dude's dead.
They are beyond saving. Like, yeah, remember this guy here? He's the one who got picked up by the tentacle and smashed into the ground and then eaten, basically, like chopped in half. Like he's very clearly dead. And Farron, roll another medicine check for that guy.
All right.
You're pretty sure he's dead. Like he's not breathing, at least as far as you can tell.
Okay. Well, then I'll leave it be.
I'll go back to my dissection real quick.
Yeah, we learned about not putting dagger marks in clergy, right? Everybody learned that lesson?
No.
Yeah, and but in the meantime,
Yeah.
as like Morella is like kneeling down, checking the pulse, seeing like whether he has a pulse, and he's not like it doesn't seem like he has a pulse and things like that. You see her like press her right hand on this dude's chest as she like begins like to bow her head downwards and begins to say a small prayer to him.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mini paladin.
I can close all of these stupid character sheets now.
Who's a cute little paladin?
There's like 1,000 of them open. I need to get rid of them. Literally, Google Chrome is yelling at me like, "You have too many windows open." It's okay. We fixed it.
I have 40.
Cool.
Rip.
That's the important stuff that you find, Chester. Other things that aren't
Gotcha.
listed there are like tons of like religious materials, prayers, a buttload of all the other stuff, but there's no like equipment. Like it's clear that these were rooms that were not intended for like the priests or guardsmen, or the guardsmen that
Gotcha.
were in here. They have all their stuff on them, right?
Is this the rooms across the way as well?
Yes. Yeah, there's more rooms
Gotcha.
across the way as well. And yeah, that includes that as well. And it's all the same. It's all like one of those acolyte people. And if you were good at math, then you would determine that basically for each of the acolytes, there was a little tiny mini demon that came out of them, a la Alien.
I'm gonna
Vicious.
throw away the robes, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, they're all like they're broken from the like they're torn outwards when the mini demons exploded from the chest of all of the different clergy members. You know, it's all a very kind of gory, disgusting scene.
Fun.
Fun is an appropriate word. Cool. So, barring anybody doing anything else, Hannibal, if you want to go ahead and make me a medicine check as well on that guy.
Am I being helped at all by Arcadi?
Yes. Yeah, you can have advantage on the roll because Arcadi's helping you. 15. 15's not bad. Your goal is not hard here. But like you're having to really like break apart this guy, but eventually you do get in there, and you see like there's a piece of weird stone that's located where his like embedded in his heart, or where his heart would be.
I do necessary precautions. I remove it and I set it to the side.
Sure. Yeah, and you notice that this one is not, it's not as finely cut as the last one.
It looked as. Would I know? Would it be
It's
like
still,
a rush job?
It's still cupped or cupped. It's still cut, like it's still like it's cut in the shape of a gemstone. But it's more kind of just like almost hastily done or just shoddy craftsmanship, and just like quickly polished. Almost as if someone was maybe not using the correct tools, or perhaps someone was like using some other method of cutting it besides what you would normally do to a gemstone. I think the only thing that's really clear to you is that a like licensed shieldcrafter probably did not use this piece.
So what I think, this was made by a different person than the one I saw.
You could assume that if you wanted to. It's definitely made by a different person than the first gem.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Remember, you put together that guy you saw was the one who made the first gem. It's totally possible that that's not true.
Yeah. So this gives rise to the fact that there are multiple people working with Weirdstone.
Indeed. That are most likely not Skaven. Because if it were Skaven, that would make perfect sense.
Yes. But Skaven don't do stuff like this with it.
Skaven do some... Well, I mean, actually... roll me a history check. And I'll tell you what Skaven do with Weirdstone. Or how much you know about it. Dude, Skaven do all kinds of fucked up shit with Weirdstone. Like, the reason giant rats and rat ogres exist is because they modify them with Weirdstone. Almost exactly like what is going on here.
So it's similar to Skaven.
I mean, yeah, it's probably more crude. Skaven, imagine this. Skaven have actually perfected the art of dealing with warpstone. They make weapons and stuff out of it. Like, that's how good they are at dealing with this. And they're also immune to its effects because they're already, like, creatures of chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, they do a lot of mutations and mutating other things, even sometimes human captives. Or elven or dwarven captives. Dwarves being a little bit more resilient than the typical one, but still corruptible. Like, that's one of the Skaven main practices. They actually have like specific jobs in the Skaven society that all they do is like corrupt things with Weirdstone. It's like their job in the clan.
So like basically what I'm getting is that this is similar to what Skaven do, but cruder. Like it was done not by Skaven.
That would be a good assumption, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps someone attempting to mimic them, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good assumption that you could make if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sharing this with us as you're working through it?
Yeah, I basically say it's very similar to the way the Skaven use.
Mm-hmm.
Who in the world would attempt to base their experiments on rat folk? They are not exactly cutting edge in science, eh?
What are you Skaven are some of the leaders in science.
They... Possibly a misunderstanding.
Yes, Skaven actually have technology that surpasses dwarves. They're the most technologically advanced race that exists in the world.
By what metric are we doing this?
Well, by metric of pure like technology basis. However, their practices are notoriously immoral. Like, essentially, if the dwarves decided that they didn't give a shit about morals, they could equal the Skaven.
Yeah, they're basically Nazi Germany, just by the way.
I mean...
Yeah, can I share this with Arkady?
Yeah, sure, if you want to, yeah.
Yeah,
but yes, Nazi Germany.
Is interesting perspective.
It's not really perspective, it's fact.
Yes, terrifying rat people covered in plague, definitely pinnacle of technological society.
Have you ever seen a sick Skaven?
You and I may have very different definitions of sick.
I think we do. Anyway, think fast. And I
In the-
again make I throwing the weird stone at him.
A la the last time this happened.
Yeah, except this time I actually throw
Arcadi
it.
is not touching that. Arcadi
Yeah, except this
ducks
time
and rolls.
I actually throw it at him.
Yeah, he just
Arcadi ducks and rolls.
yeah, he just like moves to the side and it flies past him. And
This is not appropriate laboratory technique.
This isn't a lab. This is a church. Have some respect. I say with my hands covered in demon blood.
yeah, this weird syrupy.
Arcadi is having such a long day.
Yeah.
Arcadi needs sleep, man.
God, he needs more than that.
Yeah, so I think it's probably like about this time that the group of you hears a venerable mass of people coming in through the front doors of the church, and I don't have enough tokens just to make people, but leading the group of them is very clearly Theogonist Wayfarer.
I go pick up the weird stone again.
Yeah, and,
Just so that's not just
the
lying on the
Theogonist
ground.
Wayfarer, and he's got his weapon drawn, and then like there's probably like 30 knights that enter in behind him, like fully fledged knights that all have their weapons drawn, and it's like they're coming in to do battle, only to observe that battle has been completed.
Yeah.
And I think
Assume,
that, like,
I would assume Morello like joins with
Chester
the rest
is-
of the group.
yeah. You guys can kind of be wherever you are at this point.
Chester has disappeared.
Yeah, Chester, you probably have had time to exit if you so chose to do.
Go meet up with Vi.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I don't think you know where Vi is. I think specifically you may not know where she is.
Right.
For now.
Chester has PTSD symptoms of not utilizing the buddy system appropriately as he waits outside the church for somebody to exit.
Just standing there awkwardly, just kind of like looking
Yeah.
around.
guys.
Also, he's distinctly missing a hat or something to cover his face with. So, like, maybe you grab a bandana or something from a passerby.
He pops his collar.
Yeah, there you pop the collar. Yeah, and I think that as he enters, like, as he's about to address you, I think the commander, probably after having treated the what do you call him? The Inquisitor. Jesus, I was struggling. He probably like approaches as well, and he greets. He's like, the Organist, my liege, and he like does the salute, whatever Sigmar does for their salute, and he goes, we've had a terrible thing has occurred. There are many wounded and injured, and even more dead. And, Theogonist Wayfarer understandably goes, what's in the name of Sigmar happened here? And I think that Commander Theoden is going to give an accounting of what occurred. So, for the group of you that is standing here, you have the opportunity to, like, interject things, or, be like, oh, well, maybe you didn't see this, the way that I saw it from over here, but this is what happened there. Like, you have moments to change the story. He's going to tell it from his perspective, which is a little bit narrow, right? Like, his perspective is, I was fighting the bone demon, I got knocked unconscious, one of the Inquisitors got me back up, and then, myself and mostly Morella, because that's the person he saw, ended up slaying the bone demon. The other stuff that happened, though, there's gonna be, like, some questions about, like, what are these weird fucking creatures, demons in... And, like, it has the potential to become embroiled in a lot of political, nonsense. Like, well, how exactly did this person die? And how exactly
It's
did
like,
this
for
person
instance, we're at a point of time, if this were a game,
Right.
do you tell the Grand Theogonist, or don't you tell the Grand
Right, and
Theogonist?
especially with 3 Inquisitors dead. Like, that's a significant event.
Before we start talking, can I actually interrupt him?
Well, here's the thing that I will tell you as well. Your words are more than likely going to be backed up. Like, whatever you guys say here is probably going to be backed up by Commander Theoden, because he's basically on all of your sides now. Like there's nothing that anyone could really say or show him at this point for him to consider that the 4 of you are not, like, champions of Sigmar, for having, like, defeated all these enemies and, like, defended his people and, to the best of your ability, obviously. Mostly you just use them as temporary hit points. But, you know, whatever.
He
Well,
doesn't
they
see
had
that.
names that we gave them temporarily.
Bloodbag Steve.
Yeah, there's Bloodbag Steve, that's right.
But yeah, can I interrupt him? Can I get somebody to take this and I hold up the weird stone?
Yeah, and I think that with a gloved hand, Theogonus Wayfarer probably grabs it, and he like probably pulls out a cloth to like grab it as well. And he puts two and two together, right? Like clearly you're covered up to elbow in demon viscera, and there's demon with his chest like cracked open. Like he can put two and two together and figure that out.
I need to
Seems
talk
like a
to
smart
you.
man.
Yeah, and I said I'll probably need to talk to you later about what I found. But yeah, let's move on with what happened here.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna give everybody, all four of you, like a chance to interject a thing that like occurred here, that will be taken essentially as truth. So I'm gonna give you guys a second to think about it, because remember, you're gonna be backed up by this commander who is clearly like a high-ranking individual, not quite as high as the Theogonus Wayfarer, but his word backing you up makes your words basically his. So just understand that. I'll give everybody a minute while I do something with Vi and Chester real quick to think about that. So I'm just throwing it out there. This is your one chance to unfuck all of your situations. That's what I'm telling you right now, okay? Try to make it good and unfuck your situation. So Vi, I think as you're walking through the streets, your shoulders feel heavy. You feel like you're carrying this great weight upon you. And as you visit each one of these gambling dens and each one of these things, each one of these places that you're placing these coins, every time you place a coin, it gets a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. To recognize that you're doing the right thing, right? To recognize that you are doing what you should be doing in this moment to, improve your or tip the balance back to neutral. And I think that more than that, because we described last session about how you were seeing all of these like signs of like ill omen just kind of scattered throughout. Like, you'd see stuff written in leaves on the ground, or you'd see things written like in the cobblestones, right? Like they would form words or pictures, and then you'd shake your head and they'd be gone. I think you're getting the opposite kind of as you walk through. Like the immediate threat has been quelled. So you're probably seeing like some forms of niceties going on. Like maybe there's a little boy and a little girl, and the little boy trips and skins his knee, and the little girl like helps him up and like helps bandage it. And there's just things of nicety going around, and you can feel like and they become progressively more as you continue to do your task. And once you get back to the temple, your temple at least is how we will understand it, and you place the gold there, I think that like a puff of wind comes up, and a parchment flies past you, and you definitely because you're trained, you grab it out of the air, and you look at it, and it's soaked because it landed in a puddle, and the last like omen you get is the curfew. It's one of the curfew posters, and the words are like running off of it because it's wet now, and so it's like becoming back to like a blank piece of paper. Like kind of for you'd probably understand it as like noting the end of that particular like bad thing that you guys had caused, right? As the final like balance tipping thing. Is there any more to your ritual besides just doing that?
No, I think that's kind of the final thing that she needed, and I think that she gets really emotional at that, because I don't think that she's ever used that much luck or that much power that she's had before. And so I think she just kind of falls to her knees holding the paper, and like she just starts to cry.
So, are you doing like the hugging the thing to your chest, or like do you just have it kind of like in your hands?
I think that I'm just kind of like I'm kneeling, and I'm just kind of my head's just kind of like over the paper that's just like sitting on my lap. You can just kind of see some tears just dripping off my face on top of it.
Yeah. And I think that like the scene probably fades out with we hear like the sound of dice rolling against the table. And
then I think that makes Vi smile.
Right, yeah. And maybe you go into the temple like, okay, I've done my thing now.
Yeah. I drop the paper and then I just kind of knock on the door.
Yeah, and you get admitted in, and probably like, you know, you feel like everything is concluded, and like you realize, oh crap, I have no money, and like you do the thing where like people go into their pockets, right, to like, you know, I don't have any money, and your finger like hits like a copper piece, and you just pull it out, and you know that if you play this copper piece, you're gonna start to make your money back, and you know, you play in the gambling den for a little bit, probably.
Love it.
Cool. So the group of you, I see you're chatting. Feel free to take that chat vocal now, if you'd like, if you're not fully completed.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to say, and I'm going to basically explain away the explosion.
Given that you're handling Weirdstone, you probably should take the lead. Yeah.
Yeah. So should I just go ahead and say what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because remember, like, again, I'll remind you, it's going to be told from the viewpoint of the commander, where, like, big portal opened, guy said some things, you know.
If I remember right, before the portal opened, the fire was crackling and sparking and making sounds, right?
Yeah, the fire was like, reacting to something, at least, that was not caused by anyone in the room. Like,
yeah, and then when the big skeleton appeared, it made another big sound.
No, when the skeleton appeared, it closed. So if the closing of the portal made a sound, then yes, it did.
But it did like make a sound when like it was like sparkling and crackling and stuff. When it Alright, I would like to say though, when the portal first opened up, I actually recognized the sound that was coming from the fire. It sounded extremely similar to the sound that I heard before the explosion happened.
Okay, sure, yep. So yeah, Commander gets to that point in the story, and he nods, and he's like, yeah, that would make sense with clearly this group of travelers is being hunted. They must have tracked him down here. And the Theogonist Wayfarer just kind of nods and like waits to continue on the story. So in the timeline of events, who has the next thing that occurred?
I think I would probably cover up for Vi and Chester, because, you know, I'm a bard, so my magics are probably less known to paladins and clerics.
Cool, yeah. So like the magical damage that's been done to creatures, like for example the ripped remains of the manes down here, and like the incinerated body over here, and also this guy has a big like magical bolt attack on him. You're gonna claim like that you did those?
Yeah, I would.
I think.
Cool.
For the one that got obliterated by the bolt of light through the window.
Yeah.
Arkady is going to see if he can imply something, maybe involving visions in the sky through the window before the bolt struck.
Sure.
Sort of weaving in the idea that even though they are all, I mean, Farron's an arcane sort of caster, obviously, that divine intervention actually came to assist us in this.
Right, yeah, cool. Yep, so I think that's cool. I think that's definitely something that they would... I think that's for sure something like they would, Sigmar was with us, and, like, the 30 knights around you all, like, bow their head in unison, and all, like, repeat Sigmar is with us. It's, like, kind of fucking freaky, to be honest with you.
I do the but just go.
Right, yeah. You guys it's an awkward moment where like everybody's doing a thing and you guys aren't doing a thing, and you're like, should we do the thing just to look right? Like, I don't know. Kind of like half-assed do the thing. Awesome.
I mean, Morella doesn't. She actively chooses not to do what everyone else is doing.
I mean, they don't notice, but I'm just for flavor's sake. So Morella, what is your contribution to the story?
She tells the point of view of what she did.
Okay.
Specifically mentioning that, like, during the fight with this mighty bone devil demon creature, that seeing as how it was targeting the Inquisitors first, the one nearest to her she attempted to save by pushing it back. She will specifically mention that point.
Yeah, because you totally did, and then it got... I forget what happened to him. Did he die from something else?
I think that... No, I think he... Is he the one that's... Yeah, he's the one that survived, isn't it?
Yeah, because I pushed him back.
Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, he is the one that survived. He later got knocked out by the tentacle dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he totally did survive the bone demon because you pushed him back. Yeah, you're right. That's 100% accurate. Yeah,
so she tells that, and she, like, you know, says that, like,
that you, through your
actions, through valor and, like, just mere conviction with trying to save everyone, they came out victorious.
Yeah, I think you get some significant, like, nods from the crowd and from Theogonist, and he probably even thanks you, and he probably says, like, I'm sure the Inquisitor will thank you as well once he is fully righted.
She just simply nods, and she says, I would hope so.
So Hannibal is covering for basically the explosion at Lady Sylar's estate. Farron is going to talk about how the magical effects that are not, like, obvious divine intervention or could be confused for obvious divine intervention were caused by him to cover for Vi and Chester. Marilla's going to talk about how she saved one of the Inquisitor's lives by getting him out of the way of the Bone Demon, and Arcadi's going to add in the flavor of there was divine intervention that assisted us in this battle.
I'm just laying the groundwork for us to potentially be the Messiahs.
Right. No, I totally understand. I totally get
Hannibal especially is appreciative of that.
Yeah.
For personal reasons.
Hannibal is especially appreciative because he didn't have to go to jail forever for blowing up an estate with illegal black powder.
They don't know that. I take it back. Only Arcadi knows exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, if you recall, they did question you about the dwarf.
But I didn't tell them. They did question me.
There was that blue puff of smoke.
There's suspicions that black powder was involved, but at this moment, you were cleared. Like, that investigation is nowhere close to done, nor probably will it be close to done in a while, because of this new incident, right? But, like...
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to cover up the explosion from black powder. Because it's pretty obvious when it happens. But cool, yeah. So I think that how the scene, like, progresses from there is Theogonist Wayfarer, like, individually, he thanks you all for, like, your valor. And I think that after, like, bodies are collected and, like, you guys are probably helping out, or some of you at least are helping out. Like, moving stuff out of the way, like, they've set to work, like, cleaning everything up. I think that, like, at the end of that like scene, once everything's kind of moved out of the way, the Honest Wayfarer gets up on, like, the dais over here, and he probably declares, like, he stands up and he, like, gets everybody's attention, and they all, like, the hum quiets down, and he says to the audience and to you guys as you're in there as well, he says, "Today we were assaulted by a great force of chaos, and through the heroism and bravery of Commander Theoden and these valiant individuals, Lady Morella Fairheart, Arkady Petrov of Kislev, Farron Makhaib, and Hannibal D. Solomon, the Church of Sigmar has been saved."
Don't tell them what the D stands for.
He goes, "I hereby declare these 4 individuals absolved of any crime they may have committed in the city up to this point. Let it be known that while they reside here in the church, they will be under our protection. This threat is greater than we know, and I'm sure that word from other cities must be pouring in at this point. We will send out our own messengers. We must relay the message of this threat against the Empire." And he, like, after that, like, he goes, "For Sigmar," and then everybody in unison, besides the four of you, goes for Sigmar, and it's, again, one of those moments, like, you guys probably, like, raise your hands and, like, look side to side, like, yeah.
Morella doesn't.
Right. Morella doesn't, again, like notably, Morella doesn't. So essentially, the outcome of this is, you guys have, been absolved of all crimes that you may have committed in the city up to this point. You are under protection of Sigmar, the Church of Sigmar, as long as you reside within its walls. Yeah, exactly. And, however, it does not absolve you from, like, future crimes. Like, if you guys go out and, like,
get in trouble,
do other bad shit, there will be other bad shit come upon you. But you guys have essentially been granted not immunity, but pardon. For any, and regardless of whether or not, like, they believe you were involved or not, it doesn't matter. Like, the Theogonist outranks the Inquisitors, so even if that one Inquisitor comes alive and says, "Kill those demons," the Theogonist can just be like, "No, you're done."
You done here, son.
Yeah. So.
I mean, Arcadi is still kind of offended by the implication that they have crimes to be absolved of.
And did you remember?
Well, yeah, but that's kind of how the Church of Sigmar is very much guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they roll.
And I think once after all of this, maybe Morella just simply, like, speaks loud enough to where everyone, like, the four of us can hear. She says, "Perhaps we have stayed too long in the city. Perhaps we must get to our own task at hand."
Speaking of which, Morella,
she looks over at you, Hannibal.
I say, "Told ya."
She raises an eyebrow.
I told you about Anders.
It's true. He did tell you, and you didn't believe him.
Yeah. And Morella just looks at you, and she's like, "That was a mere specter. Perhaps someone using his image to project false information. To discourage us, and in disbelief that our great paragons, our greatest champions, are our enemy."
Do you really
So,
believe
you
that?
know who this person is?
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, so do we do the hand, like, "I'll tell you later when we're not in the church," the teeth gritted in a smile, "I'll tell you later, or kind of in the Church of Sigmar, and these knights could still cut our heads off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Cool.
And but she simply says, "It is time, I think, this group leaves, regardless of any situations we have that we wish to do before."
Yeah, I think it's time to. We spent enough time in Nome.
We have done enough good. It is time to get on our real task.
I would like to mention. You say.
Yes, I think there is no more damage we can do here.
You say we've done enough good, but literally,
good in air quotes.
Shit has been hitting the fan ever since you guys walked into town.
Okay, in her mind, she has defeated 2 demon assaults.
Right.
From this plague.
Mm-hmm.
That could have happened when they were gone. If they hadn't been present.
True.
Which may have destroyed half the city. So in her mind, she did good.
Yeah.
That potentially wouldn't have happened if we weren't here. But I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever.
I just love the fucking image of Morella just standing in a church. You can see, like, the earning buildings, like, everywhere. And then she's saying, "We've done enough good today."
the superhero fists on the hips, looking out into the sunset. We've done enough
Dead
good.
Bodies just everywhere. Yeah. People cut in half.
The cape just flowing in the wind behind her. Yeah. I like it.
I mean, she does wear a cape. I'll let that be known. She does wear a cape.
Oh, fuck. That's perfect.
No capes.
But
so, I assume that the group of you more than likely departs the Church of Sigmar, like at the leave of everybody there. Like, you guys can totally leave.
At some point, I would like to talk to the Theologist and basically tell him what I found and how it's comparable to what Skaven do, but it's not made by Skaven.
Yeah, so I think there's actually an instance where, like, as you're leaving, you haven't seen Commander Theoden for a while. Like, he was going and getting bandaged up and stuff. But I think that, like, as you're leaving, like, a voice, like, calls to you, and it's Commander Theoden, and he walks up, and he's kind of, like, limping a little bit. Like, the battle adrenaline has worn off, so now he's, like, totally taking in all of his injuries.
Yeah, Hannibal's not doing too fucking great either.
Right, yeah. The group of you are not, like... You guys are, you know, a little bit hurt as well. But he probably comes up to you. And he gets up to you, and you could tell he, like, squares his shoulders, and he, like, is, like, straightening out, like, his tunic. Like, he seems like what he's about to say is going to be very hard for him to say.
Okay.
But he looks at the group of you, and if you just, like, allow him to do that, he, like, clears his throat. He says, Lady Morella, it would be my honor if you would accept my service.
She raises an eyebrow. What service do you mean?
Never before have I seen anyone, man or woman, fight with such ferocity, and in the wake of what has happened, I have been granted leave from the church for a time to recover, but I understand that you have future business. I would like to accompany you.
Who's speaking to me again? Sorry.
Commander Theoden, the knight
Commander
that was
Theoden.
fighting with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who I figured it was. But just for clarification. She looks at him with, like, almost, like, the deepest look of respect that she has ever given to someone. And she just simply smiles, and she's like, she puts a hand on his shoulder, and she's like, I feel that you, good sir, are more than worthy of being in my company. You deserve to be the champion for this city, to be the light that this city deserves, to lead these people in the darkness that may come towards the city in future events, if there are any. The city will need you for its leadership and for your strength.
Yeah, so I think that he, like, when you're saying this, he like snaps to attention, right? Because he's a trained knight of the order, in fact, a commander, so he knows like what's up. And when you finish your very heartwarming and bolstering speech, I think he salutes and bows at the waist to you. Obviously, a little bit pained, but I think that the group of you, at least anyone who's trained, so especially Arkady and probably Farron, maybe Hannibal, but definitely Marilla, he gives you a salute that shows a sign of respect for one greater, like, at least equivalent to a count. Like, he gives you, like, whatever gesture that is. He gives you honor greater than your station. Which is significant, like, especially him being the person that he is. He probably commands up to 60 troops if they were to, like, go to battle or whatever. Like, he's an important dude. And so, yeah, he gives you the honor granting higher than your station. He says, I will serve dutifully, my lady, in good times and bad. And when my duties call me back to the church, I shall inform you. Until then, I will be the light in the darkness that is to come.
Yeah, and, like, maybe as, like, he starts walking away, she will say something, and she's like, perhaps, if I am ever Empress, I will call upon you for your service once more.
And I think he simply replies with, may you live forever. And, like, he backs away, still in the bowing position, a few steps, and then turns on his heel and goes back into the church.
Mm-hmm. Score one for Marilla. Scored an ally.
Yeah, so real quick, can I have talked to Theo just like after?
That conversation totally could happen at any point throughout the cleanup process, right?
Yeah, so like I would like to talk to him, basically go like, listen, this is multiple people that we're working against, and they are trying to adapt Skaven technology. They aren't there yet, but this is a pretty good. It's not great, but it's a good idea of what Skaven technology is. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, and I think he probably looks at you, and there's probably a brief conversation about like how you know this, right?
I'm a researcher of chaos. You can inquire at the Capitol. My parents were,
Right. Yeah,
and
for sure.
I tell them that.
Yeah, and so I think that he
My new book.
right. Yeah, I think he he probably repeats and he acknowledges. He's like, that's good information, and he said, he's like, there's no chance then that whoever may be summoning these demons is in league with Skaven. They're simply attempting to mimic.
Probably the opposite, considering what Skaven are. Skaven don't follow traditional chaos gods.
Yeah. So I think that he nods and he says, "Well, it is good to only have a threat from demons above the ground. The demons below the ground are the ones that can catch you by surprise."
Yes, we're going to be the ones dealing with those.
He nods and he says, "I wish you luck in your endeavors, Hannibal D. Solomon.
Thank you.
May Sigmar guide your path."
Thank you. Theogonus H. something or other.
Yeah, Theogonus is not his first name, but yes.
I'm really not gonna lie to you. I did his first name, and I thought it was fucking weird.
No, that's his title.
Yep.
He serves the Grand Theogonist, which is also not a first name.
First name,
Grand.
last name, Theogonist.
Holy crap.
Nice to meet
Honey,
you.
what should we name our child? We shall name him Theogonus.
This is sort of like that moment in, was it the Avengers, when Pepper is like, "Oh, Phil," and Tony is just like, "Phil." His first name is Agent.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Yeah, that's exactly what
perfect.
transpires between the two of them. And then there's this awkward moment of like, well, now I have to leave this conversation. Bye. You guys just walk away from each other.
Does he literally just go, Theogonus is my first name?
Yeah, and he just turns and walks away after that. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know much about Sigmar, sorry.
Yeah, perfect.